Woohoo! Good morning. Hi, Michelle. Good morning and welcome to yoga. I'm Amy. Not only do we have a few brave souls who came out to the studio today, but we also have our family on Facebook watching our class today. So I know this is a really stressful time for a lot of people with all the stuff that's going on in the world. And let me tell you, yoga is one of the best things that you can do to boost your immune system. So we'll be talking a lot about immunity and doing some poses that'll be good for immunity. I don't know if we've ever met before. What's your name?
Maria.
Hi, Maria. Nice to see you. I'm Amy. Welcome.
Thank you.
If you are, for some reason, doing yoga for the first time, remember yoga should never hurt. All right? It should feel good. And I'm not talking about like, oh man, I'm working my muscles. I'm like, those places where you move into a place where you feel like you might pull something. So welcome to everybody who's following us online. Welcome to you guys who came to class today, braving it, getting out there. Remember to continue to check the All That Matters website for updates on classes that are being canceled, things that we're doing around this whole pandemic crisis. So the reason why that yoga is really good for immunity, right? So we're breathing deep. That's one of the best things you can do for immunity. What's the first thing that happens when we get stressed? Right? We get sick. So we need to kind of keep that at bay as much as possible. And I know this is a really stressful time for all of us. All right, so let's start with just taking 3 sun breaths. So when you raise your arms up overhead, it helps to open the lungs and receive a little bit more breath. So take a nice deep breath in here. And on your exhale, let the hands come right through the central channel. Let's do that 2 more times. Inhale. And exhale. And 1 more sun breath. And exhale. And let your hands land on your lap, either palms up or down, and close your eyes. And we're going to start the process here of moving from our outside world to our inside world. So notice where your hands landed, right? Sometimes they land down if we need this sort of sense of grounding closer to the earth. And sometimes they land up, and it's maybe feeling that you're a little bit more receptive to receiving the practices of yoga. So from here, we're going to move right into Ujjayi breath or Dirga breath, 3-part breathing. So if you'd like, take 1 hand to your belly and 1 hand to your heart. And if you know this breath, you certainly don't have to hold on. But this is kind of nice. It helps to calm me down, I know. And it's almost like giving yourself a hug. In yoga, we typically breathe in and out through the nose. So see if you can shift your breath in and out through the nose if that's possible today. If it's not possible today, please feel free to use your mouth. Feel yourself breathing in and feel yourself breathing out. And this breath that we practice, this 3-part breath, really good for stress because it massages our nervous system, right? It fills our lungs. So on your inhale, feel an expansion at the belly. Feel your lungs open up, and then the high chambers of the lungs up around the heart. And on your exhale, high chambers, mid-lungs, belly releases, breath comes out. And as you shift your attention from all the chatter of the mind to this breath, see what it feels like to be here today in your physical body, on your mat, wherever you are. If it feels like you want to take your hands down, and we're just going to sit and breathe for a little while. Let's just slow down. And as you breathe, probably have lots of thoughts, lots of distractions. See if you can notice those and let them pass by. Right, keep coming back to your breath. Those of you who are familiar with ocean-sounding breath, you might want to bring that in here too. It can be really soothing. So if you're kind of new, right, that's sort of like fogging your mirror or fogging the your glasses, right? So it's like, but we try and take that in and out through the nose as well. From 10 to 1, count your breaths. Keep going. If you lose track, just come back to a number. It's not really important what the number is. Just try. Once you've reached 1, and you've taken those 10 breaths, for me that's usually about a minute. See how you feel. And we're going to add on a little bit of movement to these breaths, so you can feel free to keep your eyes closed, unless you need to open them to see what we're doing. So lift up through the crown of the head here. Drop your chin towards your chest, and let's roll the head from side to side. And try to connect these movements with the breath. So inhaling over to one side, and exhaling back through the center. Feeling into any tension in the neck. I like to meet someone who doesn't have any tension in the neck. Especially during this time, right? I don't know about you guys, but that's usually my first spot that feels it. Good, so next time that your right ear lands towards your right shoulder, pause here, and if you're following at home, I'm going to be mirroring so that, so I'm doing the opposite side of you. Sometimes I can't get it. Left hand comes down to the mat, right? And as you're in this shape, notice if there's any little nodding. Little bits of nodding that might want to happen, right? So reaching your chin up towards the ceiling, chin down, look down towards your armpit, just feeling into all those spots of tension. And another really big tension place can be our jaw. So as you find a spot to hang out, you might even move your jaw a little bit. Open, close, side to side. Breathe. And then let the hand flow back to the lap, and let your head float to neutral. Take a moment to feel and notice the difference on the two sides. And then drop the chin towards the chest. Inhale, head right on over to the other side. So left ear towards left shoulder, your right hand can come down to the floor. Maybe a little nodding here. Doesn't have to be a big movement. Just looking for space. If you find a little, as I call it, the nugget of tension, pause in there, let it stretch. Maybe even move your jaw. And then drop the chin towards the chest again and lift the head up to neutral. Notice how you feel. Take a couple nice deep breaths here in this shape. Lengthen your spine up. If you feel like you want to come out of your seated position for a moment, if you're starting to feel a little tense or stiff through the legs, shake your legs out and come up in. You can. From here, we have this gland that sits right below our collarbone. It's called the thymus gland. And the thymus gland controls our T cell counts. And the T cells help to fight off foreign invaders. So it can be really helpful to stimulate your thyroid gland, your thymus gland, just by tapping it a little bit. And we're going to do some movements today that are going to help to open up this area. There'll be some back bending and some twisting. So just a little tapping. You don't want to tap it too much, and you can actually come up and down the sternum a little bit here. All right, so this is a good place to fight off the immunity. So from here, please bring your arms behind your back and interlace your fingers. If you can't interlace your fingers behind your back, having a towel or a strap between your hands, you can even use your socks, right? You could grab your socks and let this give you a little bit more space here. So let's pull the knuckles down towards the floor and lift the heart up. So you're really feeling a big opening here through the area where the thymus gland is. We're going to take a couple of breaths here in this shape. And then release the arms and let your right arm come underneath your left arm. So you could come into this shape if you wanted to, or we'll go into what we call eagle arms. Eagle is a balancing pose. And this is just the arm part of it. So it's like this, so it's a bind, but your arms might not go all the way here. But basically we're pulling the shoulder blades off of the back, right? Inhale, bring your fingers or your elbows up. If you're modifying, it might look like this. Exhale, bring the elbows down. One more time, inhale up. And exhale, down. One more time, inhale. And this next time, if you wanted, and if your low back says okay, you can fold forward and round the upper back a little bit. Let's come back up, release the arms, and come into that, what we call Yoga Mudra stretch again. So interlacing your fingers behind the back, pulling the knuckles down, lifting the heart open. So there's an option to fold forward in this shape as well. You don't have to though, guys. Listen to your body, listen to your breath. If you're like, yikes, ow, my low back does not feel good here, don't do it. Or if it's too much on your shoulders, don't do it, right? Let's inhale and rise back up. Release the arms and we'll go to eagle on the other side. All right, so where's your eagle on this side? Could be a different ball game. I've got left underneath right. Right, and then inhaling, fingers or elbows come up. Exhaling, fingers or elbows come down. And inhale. And exhale. Awesome. One more time. Deep breath in. And exhale. You could fold forward. Come back up. Release the arms. And let's float our arms up overhead for a moment. This shape that we're in here, we do this in a lot of poses, downward facing dog, or puppy stretch, or even extended child's pose, is really good for immunity. This helps to open up our lungs, plus the meridians run through our lung meridians run through our arms. Plus this is really good for depression. So when you start to feel like, I can't take this staying at home anymore, do this for a while, right? Makes you feel big too. Take a deep breath in here, and on your exhale, let the hands come right through the central channel. One more time, inhale. And then this time we're going to take the left hand down and float the right arm over, stretching out through the side body. And as we come into the shape, let's go ahead and move this upper arm around. Whatever that looks like for you. It might just be staying here, stagnant, or if you'd like to come into a little bit of a flow. Maybe reaching the arm forward, taking the arm back. Big sweeping circles. You could move your wrist here, right? Feel into the opening here in the side body. Once again, building immunity because we're opening up our lungs. Right? Inhale, come back through center. Exhale and switch. As you enter into the shape, see if there's movement that wants to happen. What does it look like? Rolling of the wrist. And then let's come back up. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Before we come down onto our back, I just wanted to show you a breath practice that's really good if you do get a fever, if you do get sick, God forbid, it's called Citavi Breath, and it's kind of goofy looking. If you can roll your tongue like this, you can do it like that, or you can just pierce your lips. It's almost like you're breathing through a straw. I've never done it with a fever, but I did read if you do this for 3 minutes, you can reduce the heat of the fever. I have done it with a hot flash. It does cool you down. Or even on one of those really hot days. So it's just a... This would be a good picture for the Facebook page. All right, so just know that breath. If you do, God forbid, get sick. We're going to come down onto our backs and open up our hips a little bit. So go ahead and head down. If you brought a strap with you and you wanted to use a strap, you could, but I'm going to show this sequence without a strap, so you don't need one. So as you come down into your back, let's pull the knees into the chest. Rock a little from side to side. And if you're at home and you want to use a strap and you don't have a yoga strap, you could even use like, you know, a scarf or a tie or your belt, whatever. And as you rock from side to side, I keep forgetting I'm filming, so I have to do this. Do this stuff for you guys. As you rock from side to side, just check in with the low back. And then as you're here, take your knees and make some circles with them. And then reverse the circles. Good, let's place both feet on the floor. Cross your right ankle over your left knee or thigh. For what we call supine pigeon in yoga, it's a big hip opening pose. So you could stay right here, maybe pressing this right leg forward. If you want more from this pose, your hands come right to the inside of this bent leg. Bring your hands behind the left knee as you pull the right leg into the body. And you can rock a little from side to side. So they say that we hold a lot of emotions in our hips, and part of the reason is in here we have the psoas muscle. And the psoas muscle brings us into this sort of fetal position, which is a pretty common place that we go into when we're in a place of fear. All right, so stretching out our hips can be really helpful. Lower the left foot down, take the right foot up towards the ceiling, and let's roll our ankle around a few times here. And reverse. And then bend just the right knee and pull it in close to your body. If you feel like you want to extend the left leg down along the floor, you can. And as you come into the shape, maybe a little side to side with the leg. Keep breathing, guys. Stay with that 3-part breath. And then let's bring the leg up towards the ceiling. So if your hamstrings are tight, you might feel a lot of quivering here, right? And that's okay. You could go into the quiver slightly. Bend your knee if you need a little assistance here. Bring the hands behind the thigh, and if you want to walk the hands up higher, and this is where you could use your yoga strap, you could bring the strap right around the sole of the foot. Not necessary though. So you find that place where you're getting a pretty good stretch through the back of the leg, but it's not painful, and you're not straining through your neck and shoulders. Let's take a few rounds of breath here. Good, and then from here, we're going to come into a pose called half happy baby. So grabbing onto either the back of the knee, the ankle, or if you can reach for the outer edge of your foot, you can come there. We're going to drop the right knee over towards our right armpit and stretch out through the inner leg here. Keep that left leg as your anchor. Even if the knee is bent, you can keep your foot on the floor. That's fine. Right leg is coming over to the side. Good. From here, let this right foot land on top of your left knee or thigh. Left hand comes to the outside of this knee and come into a spinal twist. All right, so we're pulling the knee across the body and then extend your right arm. So you're feeling a nice big twist here. Ah, that feels good. Keep breathing. So twisting is really great for immunity too. It brings out all of our internal organs. So if you got any toxins in there, they're coming out. I know everybody's probably going to be staying home and drinking wine or whatever it is you drink at this time. So know you can detox with yoga. All right, come back to center. Reach the leg up towards the sky. Bring your hands behind the knee. Let's take your knee towards your nose. Squeeze in one time. And then slowly lower your leg down. You can even reach your arms overhead. Here we are in that position again. Arms overhead. Take a moment just to rest in the movements that we just did. And close your eyes and feel the difference in your two sides. Let's head to the other side. So before we do, bring your feet to the mat and let the knees be about hip width. Right, so we're setting up for bridge posture, and we're going to take that one time. Just lift the spine up. If you wanted to even reach your arms overhead here. Couple breaths. So all the while that we're doing this yoga practice, this deep breath is with you. And if you're just starting out, if you're new, if you're practicing at home, I know that that doesn't always come naturally at first. All right, let's slowly come down to the mat, one vertebra at a time. Awesome. Cross your left ankle over your right knee or thigh. And you can stay here, possibly just pressing this knee forward, thigh forward, or come up. Hands come behind the right leg. As you enter into supine pigeon pose, maybe rocking a bit from side to side. Lower your right foot down. Bring the left foot up towards the sky. Let's do some ankle rolls here. And then bend the knee and bring it in close to the body and see if the right leg wants to extend out along the floor. You know, maybe you'll rock this knee from side to side. Here comes that half happy baby. So it's like a half squat on your back. And start pulling the knee down towards the earth. You can reach for the outer edge of your foot, your ankle, or if you can only reach for the back of the knee because your hips are tight, be here. Also this option, right? If it's too much to have your leg extended, you could be here. Let's come into our twist. Left foot comes on top of right knee or thigh. Right hand comes up to the outer edge of that knee as you find your twist. We're pulling the knee across the body. Ah, there goes the water bottle. Let's come back to center. Leg comes up towards the sky. Bring the hands up. So you can take your nose towards your knee. And then slowly lower the leg down. So, pause for a moment here. And we're going to take all those movements into a little bit of a flow. Alright, so here's how this one, not the supine pigeon pose though. We're just going to take those other movements here. Lift your hips up just one time and then place them down so everything's kind of even here through the hips. Start with bringing the right knee in close to the body. And then extend the leg up towards the ceiling. And then it's half happy baby. And then your twist. Come back up. Knee towards the nose. Release the leg. All right, so let's go with the breath. Inhale, knee comes in. Exhale, lengthen the leg. Inhale here and exhale. Happy baby pose. Let's take one full breath in each pose. Inhale, come through the center and exhale, twist. Come back up, knee towards the nose. And slowly lower the leg down. So they just asked me to talk louder, so if I feel like I'm screaming, sorry guys. Knee comes in towards the body here. Straighten the leg, pull the leg towards you. Half happy baby. And then across the body for your spinal twist. Back to center, knee towards the nose. Move with your breath, even if you need to go a little bit slower than me. Leg comes down. And then one more time, other side. Knee into the body. Straighten the leg. Half happy. And then all the way across the body for your twist. Then let's come back to center. Lower the legs down and take a moment just to be in the movements that we just did. So that's an awesome low back sequence. If you're somebody who suffers with pain in the low back, all those poses are kind of meant to open up our hips and our low back. All right, so with that low back area, we need to strengthen our core too to keep it safe. So we'll do a few rounds of Yogi Bicycles. Please bring the knees in towards the chest. And these are just like your basic bicycles. Only in yoga, we do them with the breath. All right, so we'll start with our head down on the floor. Hold on to your right knee. Extend the left leg out in front of you. And then come back in and extend your right leg out in front of you. So inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And a couple of options to come into rest after doing these. You can keep your knees here into the chest, especially if your low back's a little tender. Or bring the soles of the feet together and knees out and inflate your arms overhead. Big breath into the belly, maybe an exhale out your mouth. Good, and then from here, a couple of options to come on up. So we're going to either go over onto our side, use your hands for support, nice slow lift up, right? Or if you want to do a few spinal rocks, and there's the option to strengthen the core in the middle here too as you come up for what we would call boat pose, right? Lifting the heart up. Okay, let's cross our legs and come right into table pose. Now, as you come into table pose, especially for those of you at home, I know most of us here have done some yoga before, but if your knees feel like they're tender in this posture, you can always bring a brown blanket underneath your knees. If you don't have one, you can just roll your mat up underneath your knees too. If your hands are tender, right, you can come onto your fists during any of this table sequence. So let's fan the fingers out nice and wide, hands underneath your shoulders, knees underneath your hips. Take the tail and the crown of the head up. And on your exhale, round the spine. Inhale. This is a really wonderful stress-busting movement here. We call this cats and dogs or cats and cows. All right, so take a few of these. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Good, widen your knees here. Toes towards each other. Let's come into pose of a child. So in child's pose, your hips come towards your heels. Your head touches either the earth or you could stack your fingers underneath your head. And hands underneath your head. Fists, a block, anything you might have at home, a big book, could work. If your hips don't comfortably come towards your heels, come out of it a little bit, right? Come up. So your pose could look like this. Child's pose is an awesome stress-busting pose. Right? It gives your low back a little attention. Keep breathing in the shape. And if you're practicing at home and you're doing it for the first time, seriously, don't get frustrated with the practice. There's so many different forms of yoga that and find really restorative classes, really gentle classes, really vigorous classes. I tend to do a little bit of both. All right, from here we're going to come into puppy stretch. This is an awesome pose for our immune system. I'll tell you a little bit why, right? So in puppy stretch, our knees and our hips are a little bit more in line. Our arms are extending out in front of us. This is a great pose for lymph, your lymphatic system. Lymphatic system is one of the big fighter offers. Is that the word I'm looking for? Fighter. Defenders of our immune system. So in yoga, anytime you're doing movement, right, we're getting the lymph going. But when we go upside down, especially in yoga, that can be really good for flushing out your lymphatic system. All right, cool. So next pose, really great for that too, but if it's not a pose that's in your practice, you would like to stay closer to the earth, even if you're just feeling like today I need to be easy, I gotta take it easy, don't take this one. Otherwise, we're gonna find our way towards downward facing dog. And if you have socks on, sometimes it's good to take your socks off because your feet can tend to slide all over the mat. Right, so let's walk the hands slightly in front of our shoulders, fan the fingers wide, toes tuck under. Knees are bent here as you lift and lengthen your spine, and then you can pedal out the heels in the shape. Feel your breath. From downward facing dog, let's float forward to plank. We're going to hold plank for a few breaths here, guys. Not because it's so fun, but because it's an awesome strengthener, right? You can do it like this, knees down. Just make sure you're feeling your belly and your low back pulling together. Thighs are strong and active. You can also come onto your forearms here. Find your breath, right? If you need to come out, you can, but we're going to go maybe 3 or 4 more breaths here in class. Right, the stronger we are, the easier it's going to be for us to move through this time. Good, and then knees come down, lower all the way to the belly, and let's take a rest here. So stack your hands, rest your forehead on your hands. You can either wiggle your hips from side to side, or you can pick your feet up off the mat and roll your ankles around. Right, maybe it's a little side to side motion here. Good, we're gonna get into a little bit of back bending here with Cobra Pose. So, Cobra Pose, lots of different versions. We'll start low and then maybe end up a little bit higher, but listen to your body. If you can't come up as high as maybe I do in this pose, please stay low. So here's the first stage of Cobra, just lifting and lengthening. Your hands are really not doing any work, right? So low back is getting strong and active and working here. If you want more, begin to press into the hands. Make sure the shoulders fall away from the ears. If you end up in this shape, it's defeating the purpose, right? We want to have the heart opening and coming forward. So you might be even down here. Inhale. Exhale, lower down. Press into your hands. Let's come back towards an extended child's pose or puppy stretch. Or if you guys want to take a downward facing dog, that's fine with me too. Any one of these 3 poses is good. Let's come back up to either puppy or downward facing dog. Let's come forward for plank again. Now there's this option in plank too if your hands start to get frustrated in this pose or it's too much on your wrists, right? You can come down onto your forearms. Or here, right? Knees down. Feel the strength in the body. The legs are engaged as well. Good, and then let's all land down on the floor. So remember you're talking about the thymus gland and how opening that area up is really good for immunity. All these back bends that we do are really good poses for that. Plus they open up the lungs, which is awesome. Right, forehead to the mat. Fingers come down towards your feet. Let's come to Shalambhasana. So lift both legs up if you can. Then the head and chest comes up, and then the arms. Let's take about 5 rounds of breath here, and if you wanted to, pulse. Right? Inhale up, exhale and lower. You can do that here as well. Keep breathing. And then release down. Bring the hands underneath the shoulders, either pressing back towards child's pose or puppy stretch, or downward facing dog. All right, we're going to transition to some standing poses, a couple of sun salutations here. So please step your feet up towards your hands or bring your hands towards your feet, whatever makes the most sense for you. You can bend your knees in this shape. Let's lift and lengthen the spine so you're hinging at the hips and tail to the crown gets really long here. Right? And then exhale and fold forward. Let's come into Uttanasana for a little bit. This is a forward folding position. If you need to make space for your belly, like you're having a hard time breathing, open the legs a little bit wider. Relax your head and neck. You can even grab opposite elbows here as you dangle forward. This is an awesome stress busting pose, right? We got the blood and the lymph flowing in the opposite direction, plus it gives us a sense of being in, focusing, calm. Where's your breath? Bring it with you. All right, and then let's press into the earth and rise up to standing. Flow both arms up overhead. Okay, we're in that shape again. And then hands down the space. I'm just saying, this is a good opportunity for us all to start a meditation practice. We're stuck in the house, right? I hear that all the time, like, I don't have time to meditate. You do now, just saying. Let's come into standing mountain pose, Tadasana. So feet are grounding down on the floor, fan those toes out. Press the balls of the feet and heels of the feet down. Engage your thighs. Tadasana, or standing mountain pose, is basically just conscious standing. Right, pull the belly in slightly, tailbone towards the earth. Let's roll those shoulders up around the ears and down the back. Arms down by your sides. Smile, even if you're faking it. Make you feel better. And let's take our hands right to the heart space. This is movement and breath coming together. A couple rounds of half sun salutation, and then we're going to move into a full sun salutation. Inhale, arms flow down and up. And if you want to look up at the hands that are in the sky, great. Exhale, hinge at the hips as you fold forward. Bend your knees here, guys, if you need to. Inhale, lift up halfway. Lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Root down, rise up. Inhale. And exhale. Something about these half sun salutations just makes you feel better. Even if you're just joining us, try a couple of these every day. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale and fold. Bend those knees if you need to. Inhale and rise. Exhale. Good, one more time. Big breath in. Exhale. Inhale, lift up halfway. And exhale. Good, root down as we rise up. Good, we're going to add on full sun salutation. So step up to the top of the mat if you're not there already. I will show modifications at first and then we'll do the full one. So inhales, hands rise up. Exhale and fold. Inhale, lift up halfway. Bend down and touch. Step your right foot back, then your left foot back, and we're in plank. Here's modified plank. Right, take a deep breath in. Exhale, lower to the earth. Your inhale brings you to Cobra. You can stay nice and low or press into the hands and rise higher. Right? Your exhale will pull you back to either downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 rounds of breath here. This is our resting place. If you don't find downward facing dog restful, stay in your child's pose. Right? 5 5 breaths. Remember that breath rhythm too. Inhaling, feeling belly, rib cage, heart. Exhaling, heart, rib cage, belly. Breathe, notice. Let's get ready to come to the top of the mat. So if you're in child's pose, you might just come to table and step those feet up. Otherwise, from downward facing dog, step the feet up towards the top of the mat. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale. We root down as we rise up to standing. And bring the hands to the hearts. Inhale. Exhale. This time a little bit more flow. Inhale, halfway lift. Hands down, step back to plank. Lowering down, either like a push-up or knees first, guys, if you're modifying. Right, lower down to the earth. Tops of the feet come down with low or high cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 breaths. Look forward to the hands or start to come up if you're down in child's pose and walk the feet up towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift and lengthen your spine. Exhale and fold. Good. Root down to rise up. Big breath in. And exhale. Space. So we're going to do another sun salutation. This one's going to have a knee down lunge in it. So if you want to have a blanket or a pillow to put underneath your knee, bring that onto your mat. You can also roll your mat up. All right, so let's start here. Inhale, arms float up. Exhale, fold forward. Lift halfway on the in-breath. Bend down, touch the mat, and step your right foot back into a lunge. Knee comes down. All right, so if your knee is tender, you don't even have to drop it down really. You could stay here. But if your knee is tender, get something underneath it. Hands can stay here, come here, or the focus. Arms up. And you can come out of the posture a little bit. Pull the belly in, right? So really feel that. And then come forward. And then a little bit more for our thymus gland, right? We can roll those arms back and up. So remember, any back bending, good for thymus, but also energetically, it's a more positive place to be, right? When we're sad or here, when we're open and happy, we're in more of a back bend. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, take the hands down. Toes tuck under on the back foot. While we're here, let's take a twisting pose. So landing your right hand down on the mat. You could keep your knee on the floor if you wanted to. Left hand comes to the thigh or up. Maybe the gaze comes up. Keep breathing. And exhale, take the hand down. Let's step back to either downward facing dog or child's pose. Options here, you can rest, right? Come down to knees and just relax. Or come forward, find your plank. Lower down. Lift the heart. Then find your way back. Downward facing dog or child's pose. 5 breaths here. We're down dog. We've got the benefits of inversion. We've got the lymphatic system getting a judge. Really lengthening our spine and opening the heart space. Good, let's gaze forward to the hands. If you're in child's pose, start to work your way up towards the top of the mat. Inhale, lift halfway. exhale and fold. Move down, rise up. Inhale. Space. And let's have the other side. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale halfway up. Bend down and touch. Left foot comes back this time. You need that prop, get it set up. Knee comes down. You can stay right here, just feeling that stretch here in the left hip flexors. Make sure your knee's tracking over your ankle here on the front leg, or press into it. Come up here or here. Coming out of the pose to pull the belly in slightly and then sink the hips forward. Good. Roll those shoulders. And one more deep breath in. The exhale frames the front foot. Come up onto the ball of the back foot. Twisting again, so the left hand is down, right hand comes to your thigh. Start to twist here and maybe even reach that right arm up, right, for the full pose. Take a few breaths. And release. Coming back towards downward facing dog. Either moving through what we call a connecting vinyasa, which means plank, lowering down, Cobra Pose, or pausing, try to move. Listen to your body and listen to your breath. And so sun salutations are enlightening, enlivening. They wake us up. They connect us with our breath. There's some really lovely movements too. All right, cool. Let's find our way up towards the top of the mat. Inhale. Lengthen the spine. Exhale and fold. Good, root down to rise up. Land one hand on your heart, one hand on your belly, and come back to that three-part breathing. Even if you'd like to close your eyes here, just have a really soft gaze. And let the hands float down. Softly open up your eyes, right? And find a gazing point. Either out here, down in front of you, but don't have it be down so far that it's gonna knock you out of your balancing posture. And from here, we're gonna enter into the breath again. So let the hands float to the tops of the lungs. Inhale. Exhale, bend your knees. Feel your feet ground underneath you. Inhale, come on up. If you wanted to lift your heels up here, you could. Exhale, come down. Right? Inhale. It's okay to wobble. Remember, yoga is never perfection. It's just inquiry. Good, let's start to march in place. So we're going to shift the weight to one leg, lift the knee up, and then place it down. And as you can see, your arms can do all sorts of crazy things. Inhale, knee comes up, and exhale, place it down. Make sure you're going with your breath, right? Inhale, and exhale. Notice where your feet land when you do this, right? Inhale and exhale. Doesn't matter what foot you land on here. We're going to enter into a little bit of a holding balance pose. Could you find tree? Tree could be here. Big toe on the floor. Heard the whole class stop breathing, so come back to your breath. Right? And maybe the arms float up. So there's this idea, once again, of the sky and the earth. No shame in coming to a wall either here. Feel that standing leg really reach up. Heart reaches. All right, your lungs are getting a good amount of space here with your arms up overhead. And trees blowing the wind. Woo! All right, let's come on out. Place that foot down. Remember which foot you did. And we'll go right over to the other side. Choose a gazing point. It's really helpful. Feel your breath. Lift up through the midline of your body if you can. So you're lifting the pelvic floor slightly. And come on into your pose, true pose. Find your breath. Feel the shape. And let the hands come down. All right, I'm going to have you guys face this wall over there, but I can't really move over there because I got to be in the shot of the camera. So let's open our legs nice and wide. From here, turn the heels in and the toes out. And we're going to come into a squatting posture. So lower down a touch and then come back up. Inhale and exhale. Let's reach the arms up. Inhale, exhale. One more time. Inhale, exhale. Good. Goddess pose with our arms up overhead. So strengthening through the legs, lifting the pelvic floor. Arms are up, creating more space for our lungs. We're breathing. We're fighting off this darn virus. Feel the strength here in this pose. That's why we call it goddess. Good, let's come on up and out. Release the arms down. Warrior two, right foot forward. So turn your right foot towards the front of the room, knee tracks right over the ankle. That's a big alignment cue in this one. The back heel, lift that heel up, turn the foot in slightly. So once you've got your foundation down, come to the belly, pull in a little bit. You float your arms up overhead again, and on your exhale, find your way towards warrior two. Deep breaths. Let the hand come down the back leg as you come into an exalted version of this pose, right? Side body opening. Then the hand or the forearm can land on this leg as the left arm floats overhead. And come back and forth with your breath. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. Good. Next time we come into our exalted warrior, let's get ready for triangle pose. So for me, I usually heel toe my feet a little closer together for stability in this one. Right leg stays as straight as you can keep it. Right arm reaches up. And then reach, reach, reach. So you're reaching right over this leg. Hand lands either above or below the knee. It really doesn't matter how far you come down. You kind of feel like over your ego here in our practice. Let the left hand come down to meet the right. Inhale. Open up into triangle. Now, if you come into the shape and it's way too much on your shoulder or your low back, look down and keep your hand right here, just on your low back or on your side. Otherwise, full pose. If you're not quite sure if you're using your core here, try picking your right hand up off of the mat and breathe. Okay? Good. Awesome. Let's come up. Bring the hands to the hips and step your back foot forward. Okay, take a moment, one hand in the belly, one hand to the heart, just to feel your breath. So this time the left foot will stay forward. Let's step the right foot back so you guys are facing this side of the room. Right? And just a little bit for goddess today. This time we'll do like a little twisting goddess. So come on down, right? Forward on your feet, so you're not gripping through the toes or collapsing through your arches. Hands are on your thighs. Shoulders can come up around your ears a little bit as you settle your hips down. Take a deep breath in here and drop the right shoulder towards the midline. Come back up. Drop the left shoulder towards the midline. Come back up. One more on each side. All right, and then come back into the stance here with your legs straight. We're going to turn the left foot towards the front of the room. Pick that right heel up, land it down, track the knee over the ankle, arms float up overhead. Breath in, feel that opening here through the lungs, and exhale, it's warrior two. Try not to let your shoulders end up around your ears. 5 or so breaths in this pose. Let's go ahead and exalt our warrior. Forearm or the hand lands on this front thigh as you reach that right arm overhead. Inhale. And exhale. Awesome. As we come back this time, we're going to get ready for our triangle pose. So if you want to heel toe your feet a little closer together, then reach this left arm up towards the sky. And reach, reach, reach until you can't reach any further. Hand lands on the leg. Right hand can stay here on the low back as you look down, or full pose opens the heart. Palm is nice and open. Legs are as straight as you can keep them. We're breathing. Once again, if you want to try and play with the action in your core, you can try taking that arm off the lower leg, even reaching the arms overhead. That's a lot though. Especially if you're new to this pose. Stay where you are. Let's inhale and come back up. This time, turn the feet forward or even slightly in. Option to interlace your fingers behind the back, right? Yoga Mudra stretch. If that's too much on your shoulders, just keep your hands on your hips. Inhale, lift the heart, opening into that back bending shape again. Exhale, fold down. Let the head come down towards the earth. You can always land your hands on the earth. If you ever feel dizzy or lightheaded in your practice, right? Head above the heart. If it's okay. Right here you are. Relax the head and neck. So even a shape like this is an inversion posture. If you have your arms still overhead, let them come down into the earth. So still getting your lymph to flow. You could even reach your arms overhead here for a version of downward facing dog, maybe coming onto your fingertips. So from here, we're going to transition back down to the mat. So if you'd like to join me by walking your hands to either side of the left foot, stepping back to down dog, you could move through another round of vinyasa or just land in your child's pose. We want to all meet in child's pose. Once you get there, get something underneath your forehead, whether it's your hands or your block. Maybe your head comfortably reaches the floor, and just rock your head a little from side to side to notice your third eye, right? As yogis, we believe we have 3 eyes, one that looks in at all times, and the other 2 are looking out. So this next pose that we're going to do is a really nice thymus gland version of Camel Pose. If you like full camel, you can do that, but I'm going to just show this in a modified sense because it's a really big stretch. So you could roll your mat up and put your knees on your mat here if you feel like a little extra cushion. I'm going to face forward just so the folks at home can see me. We're going to take our hands, so come on up here, so we'll be on our knees. And if you can't do this on your knees, you can always do it seated too with your legs crossed. We're going to take our hands and cross the wrists like this and land the fingertips kind of into our armpits, which is really pretty. The thumbs come to that spot, right underneath. So your thumbs are here on the thymus. Inhale, float the arms up. Float your head up. Exhale, round the upper back. Inhale, come back up. Lift the elbows up, lift the heart up. Press into this point. This is a pressure point for thymus. And then round. If you're just tuning in, thymus is really good for fending off viruses, bacteria, things like that. Okay. All right, and let's release. If you can sit back on your heel, sit back on your heels. If that doesn't feel great, you can stay up for this next one, right? I'm just going to do a real easy twisting to the side. Turn to one side. Doesn't really matter which side you go to. And then turn. All right, let's come back up. Regular old camel pose this time. So we're going to bring our hands to our low back. Right, looks like this. You can turn your fingers down or up. Take a big breath in as you pull your shoulder blades towards one another and start to come back. If you can, reach your chin up towards the ceiling, right? If that feels unsafe for your neck, keep your chin tucked. If you'd like to come into a deeper version of this pose, you may. If you're just starting out, stay with this one for safety. If you go to a place where you feel like you can't breathe, come back out a little bit. One more deep inhale and exhale, come on back. This time let's come right into child's pose. Let the spine fall forward. Let's lift up. Bring our legs out in front of us. How are we doing so far? Very good. Woohoo! So good to come to your mat, isn't it? We're going to be taking classes every day. I know I'm talking about TV. You are? I had this crazy yoga TV stress dream last night. I had a dream that I came to teach this class and I had no clothes. That's a stress dream. I couldn't find any clothes, so I had to teach it naked. Not good. All right, so you got a lot of likes. Side to side, and we're going to enter into a pretty deep twist here, guys. I'd like to, this one has 3 stages, so if you feel like you want to stay in the very first stage of this pose, please do. All right, let's drop our knees over to the right. And see how my foot is coming to my knee here? You could be in this shape, or even if you wanted to stack your knees, this might be a little easier on your low back. And really listen to your body as you come into this one. You might stay in the first part of the pose. So we're going to take our left hand and bring it to the outside of your right thigh, right? Your right hand is behind you, shoulders away from the ears. Lift and lengthen through the crown and turn your gaze over your right shoulder. So twisting for detoxification, for immunity, really good stuff. We're basically wringing out all our internal organs. So as I said, we're going to go into this one a little bit deeper. If you start to move into the deeper version of this pose and it hurts, back up. All right, stay right here. If you're in this shape, now I feel a real lot, and stay right here. If you want more, the left hand comes off of the leg and you start to walk your hands behind you. All right, so we'll start on the hands. I'm going to turn around so you guys can see me. We'll start on the hands, and then if you want more, you come down onto your forearms. Oh, mama, that's a pretty big twist. So if you come into the shape, you're like, yeah, yuck. like that. Safety first. If you're hot, try breathing in and out through the straw. Gaze down towards the floor if your head is going in a different direction. And start to press into the hands. And come on, nice and slow. Really feeling the unwinding of this pose. Let your hands come behind you. You might rock your knees a little from side to side. Right, and then let's come on over to the other side. Right hand comes to the outside of your left knee or thigh. Your left hand comes behind you. Find breath first, then move. Shoulders down, crown is lifted. Go slow. Notice if you're someone who goes right into that fullest version of the pose immediately. That happens. Slow down. I really think all this that's happening right now in the world is almost like God's way of telling us to slow down a little bit. Hands first, and then if you want to come onto your forearms, here we are. It's a very deep twist. Breathe into it. It's okay to back up. I've gone too far. I kind of feel like I went a little too far on that side. Slowly unwind. We're going to come down onto our backs, guys, and get a little inversion in. If you feel like you would like to put your legs up the wall today, we have plenty of space, so feel free to move your mat over to the wall. If you want to have your block handy, you can use your block, or you can just bring your legs up towards the sky. Either one is fine. So here's the first version of inversion that we could do, right? Real easy. If you bring your arms up here, arms and feet up towards the sky. And if your legs feel like they're really quivering, once again, bend your knees. And I'll show you another shape that you could do instead of this one if you do feel really quivery. So we do it with the block, but if you don't have a block, you could stick a pillow or a cushion or even a rolled up towel underneath your sacrum. So the sacrum is that flat bone in your low back that connects the pelvis to the spine. Right, so blocks here, and here you are in a modified version of what we call bridge pose. This is a wonderful inversion posture. So the goal here is to get things flowing in the opposite direction. Remember, there's legs up the wall too. Or we're here. Right, maybe it's just one leg at a time if that's what feels safe. If there's a lot of quivering, bend the knee. One leg up, maybe your arms come up. If you can get both up there, let's pause and really feel everything in our body flowing in the opposite direction. And this is really good for your nervous system. Really good for slowing things down. Great spot to roll your ankles around and move your toes. Keep breathing, keep noticing. Notice where the mind is traveling to. I'm going to stay in here for about a minute, but I'm going to come out and sit up. It's a really healthy thing to do every day. You've probably seen people with inversion tables, things like that. Any way to get yourself upside down. If you are sick, though, and you have a lot of congestion, maybe some head tightness, sometimes this doesn't feel good. As most of us who practice know, you kind of have to feel your way through this practice. It's not always like, here it is, feels great. Let's take 3 3 or 4 more rounds of breath. And then come on down and out of this pose. So if there's any other movement that you're feeling like your body needs right now, you can go ahead and take it. We're going to get ready for a Metta meditation today, and then just laying down and relaxing. So a little bit about the Metta meditation. Metta meditation means loving kindness, and it's a Buddhist tradition. And basically you say a few sayings that are really positive and helpful, and they can be for yourself, for other people, for the whole world. And we're going to go through the whole practice of bringing these intentions to others. And you'll see on the All That Matters website, there's actually a mandala, which is like a little circular star type thing, flower type thing, with our Metta meditation on it. We have them posted around the studio and the bathrooms especially. And you can do Metta 3 times while you're washing your hands, and you get your hands nice and clean, and it's a really good intention, rather than singing the happy birthday song, especially if it's not your birthday. Oh, that's kind of a fun song to sing too. But the Metta sayings can be anything that you want them to be. They're just positive statements. So let's find our way into a place where we're comfortable, we feel warm. So it's a quick meditation, and then what we call Shavasana, which is just relaxing. All right, so once you've settled into your mat, close your eyes. Let's all take a couple nice deep breaths here. Inhale and exhale. Notice if you're holding tension in your face or in your jaw or in your shoulders or anywhere else. What could you do to relieve that? If you're uncomfortable in a laying down position, you can always come onto your side or on your belly, or even bring your knees close together and your feet out. As we head into our Metta meditation, take a moment to notice the inside of your mouth and put a slight smile on your face. Not a big one, just a little slight smile. See what that feels like. Notice the space around your heart. You often feel a sense of sort of like warmth in this area. Like the feeling of warm chocolate chip cookies. And the first person that we're going to bring our Metta meditation to is somebody that we really love. And it doesn't have to be a person either. It could be a dog. It could be somebody that's passed on. It could be even, if you can't think of anybody, it could be somebody that you see on TV or at the supermarket or whatever. Right? So bring this person that you really love into your heart and into your mind. And say these words. Imagine the two of you are sitting together. Right? Really feel the essence of that person. And say these words. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you feel love. And notice what it feels like. You and this person that you love, or animal that you love, sitting together, feeling the loving kindness meditation. Feel that slight smile on your face again. And now I'd like you to picture in your mind and in your heart somebody who you don't know super well, but maybe it's somebody that you work with, or somebody that you see at the supermarket, or somebody in your yoga community. And bring that person, somebody you're kind of neutral to, right, into your focus. And imagine giving metta to them. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you feel love. Loving kindness meditation. this next person might be difficult for some of us. I want you to bring to mind somebody who you have challenges with, right? Maybe not the biggest challenging person in your life, but somebody who you're having slight challenges with, maybe a disagreement. Bring them into your focus. Feel their essence, their face, their heart, their soul. And say to that person, may you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be safe. May you feel love. Notice the space around your heart. Breathing into it. And now we're going to bring metta to ourselves, which I know for some of us can be sort of challenging, right? So now imagine yourself. Without judgment. May I be happy. May I be healthy. May I be safe. May I feel love. Feel the muscles of your face, the space around your heart. Notice your breath. And now, I'd like you to come together in a circle with all of the people that you just thought of in your mind. Don't get up. So it's you, it's that person that you really love, that person that you're sort of neutral to, and the person that you find challenging. And imagine you as a group going out into your immediate community, maybe it's your family or yoga community, whatever it may be, and then out to your neighborhood, and then out to your town, and then taking the metta out into your state, all of New England, all of the world, right? All around the world. May all beings feel happy. May all beings be healthy. May all beings be safe, and may all beings feel loved. Check in with that slight smile on your face, space around your heart. This is a Buddhist loving kindness meditation, Metta Meditation. Just relax in the feeling of whatever came up during this time. Let your physical body relax. Let your jaw relax. Maybe even pulling the teeth, the back teeth. Don't let them touch. You feel that sensation of being slack in the jaw.
relaxing. Notice if there's anything you can let go of, a thought. Someplace in your body that you might be holding stress or tension. Let's go in a little bit deeper for this last little bit. And then before you begin to move, notice the space behind your forehead. Thoughts, distractions, they'll come and go. See if you can sense the space in between your thoughts. And then notice the space around your heart. This is a really good time to cultivate loving kindness for people that are in need, for people that need help, for people who are lonely. And imagine there's an extension cord from your heart to your mind, right? And they're working together. Right? If the heart is the sun, and the forehead, the third eye, your mind is the moon. Remember, the moon cannot shine without the light of the sun. So from here, let's start to move. Wiggle your fingers, wiggle your toes, start to wake the body up. If you'd like to roll over to your side, a moment before you come up to your seated position, go for it. Let's bring our hands together in prayer right at the heart space. Take a couple breaths here. And we're going to enter into a mudra that I really like for pretty much all of my yoga practice, but right hand comes here to the heart, and the left hand comes forward with the fingers pointing down. All right, and this, as yogis, people that practice yoga, right, as we move out into our communities, there's folks who are really suffering, and we can keep this to ourselves, right, but offer it out to our community and to our world as well, and that's what this hand gesture represents. So just feeling it, close your eyes, sit tall. Let's bring the hands together again in prayer position, right at the heart. And we're going to chant the sacred sound of Om to end our practice today. Om is a mantra and represents the hum of the universe. Before we do our Om, though, let's take one deep breath. So inhale, please. Exhale, open mouth, big breath. Here comes our Om. Inhale. Inhale deeply, and on your exhale, namaste.
Namaste.
Namaste is really a wonderful way for us to say hello these days, right? So we don't have to shake hands. Namaste. That means the light in me honors the light in you. Thank you guys so much for coming out today. I want to thank the management at All That Matters too, because they've been working their butts off this weekend to try and figure out what we're going to do. But stay tuned, go on the website, go on the Facebook page. I think we're going to be filming classes every day. If you're out there and you feel lonely, sad, need to reach out to us.